Guys, what is up? Axel Stanley here, and well, today's video is going to be slightly different. Instead of doing what ifs that I guess I should have been known for, but nah, unfortunately, we're not doing that today because apparently I have the ever since 2020, and I sort of lost a sort of ambition. But regardless, though, well, I am back, and 20 so far has been sort of kind of me. And hey, at least my videos haven't been deleted yet. That's starts. That aside, though, what what this video is going to be different. How? Because I am going to be talking about a history with a certain someone. If you can't already. I forgot, shirts backwards. Wait. Well, backwards for you guys, but for me, it's... Aside... Anyways. So this video is also kind of a personal one to me. Yeah, so obviously everyone's different in their own sort of way. So without further ado, this is my history with Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, right here... Let's wind the clock back, say, early 2000s. I was basically your average kid who, well, is kind of quiet, didn't really make much friends for the most part. And to this today, I would definitely say that I was, or at least I really can't understate how much of a quiet kid I was. For the most part, I mean, unless if I was my family, then that's an entirely different story altogether. That being said, on the other hand, you also have to kind of understand that the only people I've interacted back then, before I even, well, had much to say about friends whatsoever, is mostly family members. Don't get me wrong, no, my family was alright. Well, they they treat me right for the most part. However, where there was a part of a time where I had a hole in my life, and at some point, to which I believe I was in the second grade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was in the second grade, and eventually, I guess so I might have been, one heck of a depressing kid because said, hey, I didn't say much. School, school back then for someone now like me was sort of rough because I get easily overlooked. No one wanted to speak to me, and that sort of thing. Because it's the early 2000s. So one of the rough times to sort of be a kid. I mean, unless if you're someone who's unless if you're a really popular kid, then no one wanted to speak to you. Or if you're very pretty or whatever. Early 2000s was weird, man. Anyways, so I have a feeling that because of this, and I don't know if it was out of coincidence or not, but in the early year 2000s, so when I was in second grade, I received one of the greatest gifts that I have ever gotten. However, before going into what I got for Christmas, so once upon a time I was kind of a gamer in training, that I would definitely show you guys the picture of me as an infant holding an NES controller and playing Super Mario Bros. So seriously, that was probably a sign that I was going to be a gamer very early. Yep. But yeah, back then I had or at least my family had an NES with Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, and we also had a Sega Game Gear, which, believe it or not, was which I have first heard of Sonic the Hedgehog. Granted that yeah, I kinda, sorta knew about Sonic the Hedgehog because it's starting more in cartoons, and we'll get to that later in the video. uh, but yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, would have an impact on my life many years down the road. That and believe it or not, that game here, we were, or at least I was raised under a poor family house name or whatever. Anyways, my family was poor. That's the bottom line. And we couldn't do much for the most part. So what in regards to my instead of using batteries all the time, I would always have the Game Gear where I plugged it to the wall with its charger, and I would just basically play from there. The countless hours I have spent playing that one Sonic the Hedgehog game, I can't remember what it was, but it was something. Now, so now, leading back to what I was like in the second grade. The, like I said, I have no idea if it was out of a coincidence that my parents knew that I was turning, well, or at least having less smiles on my face or whatever, but, oh well. Like, coincidence or not, the Christmas day, was so one of the few things that said that really, or at least that Christmas year, really, really changed a lot for me. Because building up to it, when I was asked her for I wanted for Christmas, so I can't remember if it was so my mom who asked this or not, but my response is that I don't know, and I guess I kind of given up on what I would want for Christmas. Said honestly, if that was a red death flag, that my parents started noticing that, oh no, our kid is turning into a sad kid. To do something quick. Yeah. Jokes aside, though, what would come next really, really amazed me, and that being that, sorry, that would be known as the day I got a Nintendo GameCube, but along with Super Mario Sunshine, Sonic Adventure Route 2 Battle, Sonic Adventure DX, Director's Cut, and some other games I don't remember. But overall, well, when I opened those gifts and saw the GameCube, I was in absolute. Hang on a sec. Sorry. I was in absolute joy when I saw the GameCube, and not long after we're opening the gifts. So after everyone in my family opened their gifts and they were exchanged and whatnot, I took my GameCube to my room because back then I had a TV in my room because, well, I could watch Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, what else was I going to do in my spare time? I put the I connected all of the stuff that was needed for the GameCube, and oh my goodness, what would come next really amazed me. I put Sonic Adventure DX in, and from then on, my life, well, I wouldn't say my life, but my eyes were opened to something new and amazing. That that and then on afterwards, I became an absolute Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Now, granted, I can't speak for everyone. Now, when I say Sonic the Hedgehog is probably one of the best things that Sega has ever made whatsoever. So for the remainder of the video, I will actually now speak of his games, the comics, and the animated TV shows that were produced in that Blue Blair's history. Now that I'm done explaining my history of it, so without further ado, let's cut to the games. So, well, as I have mentioned before, one of the yeah, or actually haven't mentioned, one of the first few games I played was on a Game Gear, which weirdly enough just happened to be the only Sega console I've ever played on. Yeah, granted, I don't remember much about it other than well, I got up to three zones, and that was as far as I could go. Because for some reason I could not beat the boss. I'll probably look it up later wherever game it is. But as of now, that is the one game that I know that I first started out in, and I would definitely assume that is during the classic era of good old Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, for the most part, I could also argue that the first time I have played a Sonic game was, well, Sonic Adventure DX. Yeah, since it is the game that I have stuck around with through and through and have shown a lot of love to. And since then onward, I played Sonic Adventure 2 and the many other future titles after that, like Sonic Heroes, Shadow of the Hedgehog, Sonic Riders, and let me just say, every game I have played from this franchise, I don't understand why the franchise seems to mesmerize me into getting around to playing it. And like I said before, I come from a poor family home, poor from a poor family. So getting the games were kind of wishful thinking. But once I got my hands on the games, oh boy, you can guarantee that I was on it. Like, I would play these games so for as much as I can at a time. Eventually, down the line, I did get myself a PS2, but I don't think I got myself any Sonic games from that because my choice back then was the Nintendo GameCube, but because, well, I was more of a Nintendo fan at the time. But whatever games I couldn't play on the GameCube, I would get for the PS2. Which, sadly enough, despite owning one now, I never played any from the Xbox system, so I can't say otherwise. Different consoles aside, however, for what I have been able to or say up to this point is that I managed to play every bit that I could. And of course, as soon as I got older, I would start doing new chores and stuff for the household. Yeah, and obviously, with every chance I get, I would see about getting a new game and whatnot. Granted, I did play other gaming franchises too, but the Blue Blur is obviously my go-to franchise for playing. And if I wanted to play like the newer games, I would have to either wait for my birthday or hope, but there's a new console in the household by Christmas. So eventually, when the Wii was brought into the household, absolutely, I played the living crap out of it. Actually, wait, hang on. There is actually a Sonic game that I have played on the PS2, and it was Sonic Unleashed. And I thought it was alright. And for everyone that does seem to say, and this I will admit, it kind of weirds me out a little. But when you look at YouTube videos from the past of people who have played the games like Game Grumps, so like when they play Sonic games, sometimes there are weird moments that just happen to the game. Whereas myself, anytime I play the Sonic game, it plays perfectly fine. Anything bad that ever happens, I swear it's only on my fault. I kid you not. Every Sonic game I have played plays perfectly fine. Like, no glitches, no problems, nothing. I mean, I wish I could definitely show proof, but we're on a tight budget on this channel, unfortunately, so make do with what we have, and you're gonna have to take my word for it, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. So, what even? So yeah, when I do watch the YouTube videos on how what other gamers play, yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog games, the I and the mistakes like those that happen, like, for example, well, whatever happened. So when the Game Grumps discover some weird glitch or whatever, and I'm sitting there watching like, how come my game doesn't do that? I mean, it's right there, and yet I haven't triggered it or whatever. But and it kind of does boggle my mind slightly that I've never encountered these things. Granted, I will admit, the only games I haven't played are Sonic 06, where I believe it is the most infamous problematic game ever, and Sonic Boom games. But we'll get to what what I think of the TV show as a whole. As for the games that I have played, I played most of the modern titles because, well, it was the only thing I could do. And to be quite frank, I never seem to just like the story on how it progresses, how it gets tricky, get with its levels. And like I said, there were never any bugs or glitches in anything, of the Sonic games that I've played. I kid you not, and I am telling you, you're gonna have to take my word for it. There were no problems with my games. Like, either I got myself a special copy on the game, or Sega knows I'm playing. I don't know. On the other hand, I doubt they care about someone such as myself, but, I don't know. I like to think, they really, they know that I'm probably the most diehard Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Not Chris Chan levels, I will tell you that now. So, yeah. Experience with the games? I would say definitely, heck yeah. Will admit, if I was a game reviewer for the Sonic the Hedgehog games, and if I had proof of my playthroughs, I would show you them to you, but again, I'm on a limited budget, and what you see is what you get, unfortunately. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next topic of the video, which would be, whatever the hedgehog, whatever, we're all the times that Sonic the Hedgehog has been animated for either a TV show or whatever. Stupid camera. Anyways, so this section here obviously is kind of the more well-known, depending on how you want to look at it, because you can't escape TV. And I will definitely admit that the first encounter I've had with the Bluebird was with Sonic X. It was the early 2000s, and I didn't have anything else for her to watch on my small telly. Yep. So, well, yeah. When I first saw Sonic X, which, believe it or not, I watched it around the time when it was still relatively new. Like, we're talking about a time when it was season 1, episode 3. Yeah, and of course, when I saw Sonic X, I thought it was probably the best thing I've ever seen. I thought the characters were alright, and whatnot. And I say, that kind of loosely nowadays, because when looking back at it, oh boy. And of course I have watched the other Sonic the Hedgehog series, like Sonic SatAM, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, both from 1993, mind you. Sonic Underground, good lord, those were scary times. Sonic X, and of course the Sonic Boom series. Now, first off, my feelings about the games on Sonic Boom. Never played them, so I can't argue, but I will admit the story is kind of out there. Where, where, and I may have failed to mention this in the last bit of, well, in the other portion of the video, but I will admit, anytime that Sega and Sonic team decide to mix it up a bit and change the gameplay style, well, like what they did with Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, I thought the RPG mechanic was kind of cool. And hey, yeah, if you can experiment a bit and if you can experiment and if I can still have some fun out of it, then hey, more power to them. That's what I feel about the TV show of Sonic Boom. But, well, I kind of wish it was never canceled because it was good. Sure, it's about as average as one show that Cartoon Network has put out. But I would definitely argue that it's actually got some interesting moments. And I do kind of like how it pokes fun, at least every once in a while. Like, either on the fan base or whatever. So, yeah. Sonic Boom, I'd say it's alright. Sonic X, on the other hand, oh my. What even was that? How was it I don't even know where to start with that. The Sonic X, I believe, was probably the most problematic Sonic the Hedgehog series that I have ever seen. It was basically 3 seasons, so with Sonic the Hedgehog with his friends, plus a uninteresting character that I am not going to... What? Okay, yeah, it was Chris Thorndyke, if you haven't guessed it yet. Yeah, the fact that I even remotely remember what even happens kind of saddens me slightly. Yep, because everything that Sonic X did have potential, but at the same time, I did not see get the series ending well whatsoever. Where there was just no way I could have ever go back and watch it like so. But I will admit, it was kind of interesting that they basically inserted Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 into Season 2. The fact that I remember that is even more amazing. So, credit where credit's due, but it has its problems. However, with they get another show like Sonic Sat AM, which I still think it's kind of weird that it's named that way, but it only makes sense because it was a Saturday morning show. Upon looking it up, I think, yeah, but it was absolutely amazing. It was way different from how Sonic the Hedgehog looked and feel from the gaming counterparts. Heck, I would argue that it is probably one of the best things that Sega's... Okay, maybe not Sega, because I don't remember who was behind it. Regardless, though, it was so one of the best things that they took in as an interesting story, yeah, and basically made an entire TV show of it, which we will get to in the next section about its comic book counterpart. As for what you feel about Sat AM, oh, absolutely. I would watch it again. The only thing I hate to would say, however, is that it got canceled. Oh, rest of the spaghetti, Sonic Sat AM. Anyways, the shenanigans out of the way. Yep. But there was also Sonic... The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The more goofier counterpart to Sonic Sat AM. Like I said, both shows were both around 1993. Yet, and basically it was a more kid-friendlier version of Sonic the Hedgehog, if you want to call that. I mean, Robotnik, for one, looks very goofy. Yeah, yeah, along with his two or three robotic warhorse that and whatnot. And yeah, it was as watered down as SatAM. What it was a more watered down version of SatAM because SatAM tried to be serious while the other one that was more kid friendly. Something that I would suspect you could find on the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, wherever. Underground, on the other hand, that is a very, very, very dated show. Well, and honestly, I can't be mad at it because once upon a time I did think it was kind of cool. Like experimenting, like I said, it's not a bad thing to do. What can get some fun out of it. However, with Sonic Underground, I did not get too much pleasure from it because I thought it was weird that having Sonic the Hedgehog get having a brother and a sister while also looking for their mother. Which, mind you, prior to it, the Sonic the Hedgehog, to at least my knowledge, had actual parents and an uncle, let, let, which they can be found in the comics. Again, we will get to the comics portion shortly, which it'll be probably more interesting than this. So, to finish this segment off, or this part of the video off, but I would, if I was to rank the 5 shows that I've mentioned, before I do that, I gotta, also mention that there was a Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out. Not the one that you're thinking of right now. The very old one with the odd choice of voice acting. Basically, it was the one with the Metal Sonic. Yeah. Anyways, that one, despite its weird choices on the voice acting, because I did not think that's how Sonic would sound, at least prior to it, but again, can't argue. I thought it was alright. It kept me engaged throughout the whole thing. And I will not lie, Metal Sonic was yikes. Like how I thought I caused a disaster down there. But Metal Sonic, terrifying as heck. Yeah, and how will the current or the future Sonic the Hedgehog movie hold up? We'll see. Yeah, when we get there. Granted, I'll probably do a video on it, but maybe. Who knows? I don't know. So, again, if I was to rank the 5 shows that I've mentioned, how would I rank them? Well, first one, at number 5, was Sonic Underground. Yeah, because, again, it is probably the most outdated thing I have ever seen, and it kind of goes against some of the Hedgehog lore if you, ever got into it. Number 4 would be Sonic X. Again, it's sort of outdated, but at the same time, the characters, I don't want to say all the characters were bad, but the only interesting characters in that set show was Sonic and his friends. And I'm not referring to the humans in the show, because they are uninteresting whatsoever. And the fact that the first 2 seasons basically heavily rely on Sonic and his friends in a human world, that kind of got under my skin for the most part. So number 4 is Sonic X. Number 3, I would give that honor to The Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Granted, it is a kid-friendly version of Sonic SatAM, as I have mentioned. And I think it's alright. But it's not my absolute favorite either, so personal opinions and whatnot. Number 2, I would give that to Sonic Boom because, again, it did well. Let Granted, again, not my favorite because in some cases Sonic Boom can be a bit cheesy, but at the same time, I would be lying if I get yet yet did to say that I get. I would be lying if I didn't say that I get enjoyed some of the jokes in the said show, but having it poking fun at your own franchise is fun and all, but there's only so much show one can consume before it's like over redundant or whatever. And of course, number one would go to Sonic Stadium, but that show, in my opinion, is gold mine for what Sonic the Hedgehog could and probably should have been. And it was one of the best experimental moments in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise and whatnot. And I just realized this segment is longer than the game section. And I have a feeling the next section I'm going to talk about is going to be a tad longer, but we'll see. So without further ado, let us roll ourselves, or pull ourselves in, to the comic portion of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Because, hey, any form of art that Sonic the Hedgehog is a part of is bound to catch my attention in some way or another. Yeah, so this next part here is kind of an interesting one because, well, it's sort of an art form that's sort of on the rocks, depending on how you look at it anyways. Yeah, and that form and media of art is the comics. Obviously, comics have been around for a while, and I assume anyone would want to get part of that form in some way. And Sonic the Hedgehog, or at least the team that did Sonic the Hedgehog, did exactly that. And their first encounter with comics goes to Archie Comics, and I only said first comic book company because, well, we'll get to that later. And of course, so with a lot of issues to its name, Sonic the Hedgehog expanded on itself in ways that no one could have imagined it. Heck, it's pretty much revolutionized how we could have Sonic the Hedgehog in the games. And I would argue that in the comics, Sonic the Hedgehog had way more to go off of than what the games kind of offered. Which, I will admit, it kind of makes me slightly upset that they never touched on the comics whatsoever. But not to the extent. Or at least to the extreme anyways. So as far as the comics go, heck yeah. I mean, we got the characters in there that we never got in the games, like Sally Acorn, Rotor, Antoine, or in this case, and chances are those names are probably similar if you watch Sonic SatAM. But there is more than that, and I tell you, there is a lot more to go off of. Like, you thought that the expanded universe, the multi-universe stuff from Marvel and DC are interesting. Sonic is a different case. Like, I kid you not, through the warp gates that you would have seen in the classic Sonic games, they're basically gateways to different types of zones and whatnot, and alternative dimensions or whatever. Like, no joke. If you look into them, it is amazing. Ugh. Not to mention that the fact that we even get even more villains in the comic lore. Where, like, no... and I have a feeling I'm overstating this, but I am not kidding. There are villains that are amazing. And I probably, looked dumb doing that, but, what more can I do? Well, it's just me going off the utmost of tangents, but whatevs. Comics, they have got the best of Sonic in its best. Mobius looks freaking beautiful when it needs to be. or is and what is and whatnot. And there's actually more than just the main franchise or the main lineup, but there's even the side project known as the Sonic Universe, which actually touches up a bit on other bits of the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. Like there's side stories to what Silver is going through in the future. Heck, yeah, and some of my favorite issues are the 30 years later saga, which shows Sonic happily, married is the king, married to Sally, sorry, married to Sally Acorn, has a couple of kids, so some of it, so friends have got some of the best of lives, but trouble is far from over. Where, and of course, I wish I could go into detail on what these comics are like, but again, and I hate to hammer it in, but what sees we're gonna get, you're gonna. The best I can definitely tell you is that is to seek out these comics, give them a read. Oh, and by the way, Son Alley rules. That was dumb. So yeah, comics they are definitely way up there, if not more, or than the games. And I would argue that they are some of the that like the games. It is amazing in its own right, and I wish I have the comics to prove otherwise. Say because most of my stuff is now digitally downloaded these days. Aside from that, comics amazing. And now that we're done talking about the three mediums of Sonic the Hedgehog, as great as it is, there is one thing I probably wanted to say is that it could work for some changes. And if I had the DeLorean, there are definitely some things that I would love to go back and change. So let's get in our DeLoreans, wherever we parked it, and go back to the time when Sega was at war with Nintendo. Oh, what would I change about the Sonic the Hedgehog universe if I had the choice to? Well, first off, but don't 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 be get too aggressive with your advertisements. So, and honestly, if it wasn't, I mean, obviously, Sega was known to be aggressive against Nintendo in their advertisements. So, and as cool as I may have seen it first, at the same time, you're gonna get problems along the way. Yeah, yeah. So, what if we go as far back as the Genesis days? So, so first thing I would definitely do if I went back in time to fix things. First off, get myself into in as the chairman of Sega for the time, anyways, and admit that Sega definitely needs some looking up to, but we can't show what that show that we have problems. So one of the few things that I would do is not to give Genesis the add-ons. You know the ones, the 32X and the CD. Yeah, and admit that, we're gonna have to do what better next time. With the Sega Saturn. Which would lead us then to Sega Saturn. First off, don't announce its arrival on the spot, or at least to get let there be hype about it. Don't just be like, oh, it's in stores now and whatnot. Because seriously, that was a straight up nail to a coffin to was Sega's business. So that I believe it could have saved Sega a bit, But I could be wrong. Uh, I mean, I'm no businessman. I mean, have you seen what I'm like? On the other hand, don't answer rats. That's for Dunsville to do if he ever takes a look at my yeah. Well, takes a look at this video. Anyways, so on top of making sure where Sega doesn't do its thing by trying to overcompensate for what the Genesis has done, by saying that it's the next big the next big thing against Nintendo and whatnot. But with the Saturn, I would take what we have learned with the Genesis, try to improve on it, while also at the same time make sure we not only get the Sonic look good, but also the other IPs that Sega has done. Because believe me, as much as I love Sonic, you gotta have the other IPs that you own work with you, like Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, Virtual Fighters, etc. Yeah, and of course, so this means that in this era, we would have to, and if I was, so obviously, build the Atlas, which, if you don't know what Atlas, by the way, you would know that it is actually a subdivision that Sega owns, but confuses me to this day, because in the Saturn era of the life cycle, what Persona, that is where Atlas comes from, at least I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for now I'm going to say it's Atlas. So Persona just so happens to be on the PlayStation, which confuses me. Yeah, but we'll leave it as just a simple problem, I guess, that we can fix up but down the line. Which is, yes, keeping Persona on the Saturn, because trust me, that is a series that is going to save your brand by a long shot, if anything. So yeah, and once Saturn has fulfilled its duty, we would then move on to the Dreamcast. Obviously, again, take everything we've learned from the past, improve on it, make the Dreamcast look good without bashing the other brands. And hey, for the different IPs that make it look amazing, we make them amazing. Again, with not just Sonic, but the other IPs as well. And yeah, if anything, that is just how it should roll. Now, plus, if we were able to somehow succeed, and this is probably a what if within itself, because if you see my channel's history prior, we're all about that what if stuff. Or at least I am, anyways, I guess. And the big what if is that, well, Sega's doing amazing. They're trying to stay original and true to their name on original stuff that even Nintendo, PlayStation, this new Xbox has done. Well, where will we go from here then if Sega did get successful? Well, first off, since Sega obviously would make Sonic the mascot to Sega itself, but with Sonic leading the charge, we would make a new console for Sega's future. And what would the new console be called? I think that is a question for you guys to answer. Like, if we were to go into the different gens of what Sega's consoles would be like, then we would have to see. And of course, with the numerous IPs that Sega has, so including the Persona series. Thank you very much. Chet. And of course, down the line, we would have Bayonetta, as well as... What else was it? Okay, Persona as well. Anyways, so, sick. Yeah, with the success that Sonic the Hedgehog, along with the other IPs, is concerned, yeah, we'll just keep leading them on until nothing else. However, well, what would it look like then? That would be kind of interesting, because if we would fast forward into what, in this case, 2020, yeah, and if Sega were still successful then how would it look like? Yeah, I mean, yeah, granted, Sega must look like it's done something good. Well, that's, I can't even answer, because there's many IPs that Sega has that I have yet to still name. But overall, in my opinion, Sonic the Hedgehog would look amazing. Leading the charge and whatnot for his fellow brethren, I suppose. Except the comic. So would definitely help, but and heck, if anything, we could also have crossover games. So like what Sega does sometimes, like the Sega All-Star Racing and whatnot. Oh yeah, and definitely one other thing, for the experimental games that happen around, and we're going back from 2020 to 2006. You think you might have an idea where this is going. Since it was a time when Sonic the Hedgehog was going to be rebooted as this new best thing and whatnot. Yeah, what I would do is not to go for the route it originally took. Instead, I would have it as this. I would have it more based along the comics line if it was going to be a reboot. With that being said, that would mean that the comic books and the games would be in sync. So yeah, with that also being said, yep, we would be able to play games that are on the same level as the comics. And apparently my word choice is starting to fade because I cannot to come up with any other ways to say it other than, yeah, that is how it'll, or at least how I would imagine it would go. But to you guys, how do you think it would turn out if Sega were somehow successful and all the way up into 2020? Because, and like I would imagine, that the consoles of today would have, Sega could have been up there with Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo itself. But had I stepped in and it did all that. But we don't have a DeLorean. And yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, with that being said, well, yeah, and also was some minor tweaking to confirm other things and said otherwise. Oh yeah, and sorry, this video has actually gone on a lot longer than I thought, so, well, trust me, I am going to try and wrap this up as fast as I can for a moment. So, if we were to also go with the experimental route of things, series is like the Sonic Chronicles series. Yeah, okay, we can experiment on that a bit. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, net 06, so what if I came out and Sonic Chronicles would have come out like later down the line. Now, so that kind of means that, yeah, the the enriched story of Sonic the Hedgehog would have changed. And we could have a potential RPG story starring our favorite blue hedgehog, along with his novel friends. Oh my gosh! And as far as Sonic Boom is concerned, for now I'm just going to say, not go through with it because it would get confusing real fast. So, considering how different it is. So, as much as it pains me to say it anyways. So, with that being said, however, we're, we're, here are my final thoughts. Oh crap, this video was longer than I thought. Overall, yeah, this franchise has meant a lot to me when I was very, very young. And to this day, this franchise holds a dear spot in my heart. And no matter what anyone says about the franchise, no one can tell me that this franchise, in my eyes, is what helped me get over some things. So, it got me through the toughest of times. If anything, I may have not had friends back then, but at the end of the day, yeah, I would turn on my game console and play me some Sonic the Hedgehog. And yeah, maybe I would watch an animated show on Sonic the Hedgehog, or maybe I would read the comics and whatnot. So yeah, if anything, nah, nah. And I apologize. This is one of the videos that I did not think it would be this long. But again, this is a video on my personal feelings on Sonic the Hedgehog. And I will admit, this video is a lot different from what I originally do and whatnot. So, with that being said, before I go, before I go for good this time, oh crap, I forgot one thing. Nah, if I could also change another thing in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, I would erase the moment that someone thought it would be a good idea to have Sally slap Sonic. That scene should not have existed. Anyways, so I hope you guys are doing alright. Be sure to like the video if you did. Comment your thoughts down below. Share this with your friends. Or not. It's fine. It's basically a video on how I feel about our franchise anyways. And yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah. Be sure to also tell me if you have forgotten this far at this point. Let me know what your feelings towards the franchise as well. Because all I can definitely say is, I love the franchise to death, but everyone's experience is different. So yeah, you can also tell me your experience with the franchise. On top of that, I hope you guys do amazing, and if for anything, I will see you guys next time. See ya!